Okay, so now we're on to hour two. If anyone on the webinar has any particular questions about this, so one which Jackie mentioned earlier is a use of this is when he's distributing things and checking for images. Let's say they're playing a game or something. He doesn't have to send out a 4 meg image to have it check against. He can shrink it down to virtually nothing. What was that one? 911 bytes, right? And it will still, like, I'm not going to say perfectly, but highly reliably check to see if it's the right image, and find it. Would you be using it for finding it or just comparing it and seeing what's what?
Yeah, where I've used it already, at least, is with, let's say I have a full screen on a specific app, and I want to make sure, because I have no other way of actually knowing if it's moved from one menu to another menu, because I have no way of actually asking the window because it's just rendering the new menu. But I can then compare the entire Windows rendering with one of these images and quite reliably know if the menu is open or not. Because with the menu open, it looks one way, and with the menu closed, it looks a different way. So that makes quite a lot of sense for me, to not having to check different small parts of it, because I know that each time they re-render these images, they change small parts of it, and image search at least didn't work that well. So that's how I use it. It's on quite large chunks of graphics compared to quite large chunks of graphics.
And John's asking, can it be used to search images in a folder?
Yeah, it could. I'd say let's do something like file, select, folder, something like that, right? Start folder, that's not needed. That will work just fine, like so. And this will create the bitmap. Yeah, I'll just remove some of all this stuff here. I'm just making the example that Sean he asked for. Is that okay?
Sure.
So here we'll select the folder. Here we'll select the image, the folder, and then we'll go away with that. Just a moment, and then loop.
And to add a little complexity to this, as John was saying, or to find a duplicate picture, right? I could definitely see the power of that, of being able to say, I have 82 pictures of the same files of the same picture, right? And flag that.
Yeah, that's also the idea here, or at least I'm thinking. So loop, include photos, that's not needed, like so. So this will actually loop them a loop field. Or which one of them is it that we actually need? A loop file full path might be better. Yeah. Instead, we'll say 2, like so. So now we have that. Instead of, am I still cutting out?
No,
here and there, or no?
Far better. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. So just to kind of say, I'm just copy and pasting something quickly here. I didn't want to actually include that.
In your previous example, you were saving those 16 by 16 images as a file on your computer, right? But you're not going to be doing that in here, are you?
No, not for this.
No.
Not at the moment, no. So for this, just quickly something together. I have a folder with images here. And of course, I want to actually find one of these images. Let's say I want to find this one, image 4. I can say open to that. And then I need to select a folder. And it's there. I actually need to go to test images and folder with images. Okay, so I selected the image I want to find.
Mm-hmm.
And I've now selected the folder I want to check the images in. Okay. Maybe it worked, maybe it didn't, probably didn't. At least it's no longer running, so I made some kind of mistake with this. Why? Folder 1, did I spell that incorrectly or something? No.
But basically, you first are selecting the image and then getting that 16 by 16 picture of it, and then comparing, looping across every image in that folder until that threshold, until it's low enough where it says, hey, we found the one we're looking for.
Yeah. I was actually going for that one, but has it been changed to something different? This is the new one, perhaps. Just to make sure I didn't actually make any kind of typos, I'll just be copying this one over.
That's okay.
And then taking
the concept.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Okay, so I actually can't just say folder, of course. Yeah, that was, of course, the thing. Need to actually tell it the files. And those are JPGs. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And it doesn't need to actually recurse into anything. Let's try that now. I'll still look for that one, and I'll still select this folder. And here you have, of course, I didn't actually build any kind of interesting stuff into it, but the first comparison it made has a lot of difference. And the next one, still a lot of difference.
Yep.
A lot of difference. Hey. And here, there's one there. That's probably the correct one. Now I could actually return and say, hey, that's the correct one.
Cool.
So let's say I'll just cut this way down and say like so, if percentage difference times 100 below 10, just to make some kind of comparison.
Put the file
something like that. Method box, yeah, exactly. And then just
cool.
So doing that,
you gotta.
I did something wrong. Oh,
you added. There you go.
I just wanted to have extra percentage.
No.
Parentheses in there.
Yeah.
And then that one and that one and going like so. And here is the one that actually image 4. Yeah.
Pretty
cool.
It
can be used for that as well.
Now, when you're doing that, that is shrinking each of them down to 16 by 16, or that was
wow. Yeah, and then just keeping them in memory. And I will, because I'm not really storing them anywhere. You can see it's doing it here within the percentage difference function. I'm shrinking both of them. First the first and the second one there, and then grayscaling both of them. And these variables then hold the actual pointer to the image, and GGI Plus is then actually keeping track of it. But yeah, that's the thing.
So if we were actually wanting to scale this, you'd pull the first one out, right? Because you don't want to keep redoing that one over and over.
No, exactly. You'd keep track of
Yeah.
actually making sure you wouldn't. Again, these has been put together on here and there, and of course, why would you actually create the pointer to the bitmap outside of the function instead of actually passing the path to the function? Or if you wanted to compare one image to a lot of images, of course you would make that one image static. And yeah.
Right. Cool.
Yeah.
Very neat. I'm still blown away at how accurately it's comparing those things that look to me virtually identical, and it's able to differentiate.
Yeah. And I was quite happy with it because I was really missing something that was able to do that exact thing in AutoHotkey kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, I can compare exact images to other images of the same thing, but this idea with having a variation on the exact pixel, it's something that I've struggled with for many years. I think one of the first functions I ever published within AutoHotkey was a function that actually took the image search, then did one pass of that on a larger image. If it didn't actually find the image, it would set the variation up and then do one more. And then you could actually tell it how many times you wanted it to add to the variation. And if it actually managed to find the image when the variation was, let's say, 80 or something, that would be within the allowed amount. But instead of, because it was searching on stuff that was a video, so there was cloudiness and stuff like that. So it was quite difficult, but still that worked back in the day. But when I just set it to 80 and searched for it, it would just find all kinds of random stuff. So for some reason, it worked by it simply narrowing it down. And then one time it needed a variation of 55, and the next time it needed a variation of 75. And I was just like, And if I just set it to 75 because I then believed 75 was the right number, it would find all kinds of stuff. Whereas this, to me, seems way more reliable when dealing with stuff like that.
Did anyone else have any questions on this, or if not on this, do you have any other things you're trying to work on, or anything you want to share? Show something you've done lately that's cool.
Can you find? Someone is asking, can this find the position and icon on the screen? Not really. No. You can't pinpoint a subpart of an image in another image with this method. That's way more where image search really.
That's what I was going to allude to, Jackie. Was I mean, if you knew where you were looking, right, you would just build in to go get those images and then compare, right, and then say, oh, here it matched. But you're right, that's a whole different thing.
Yeah, this is a comparison tool. Compares images. It doesn't actually search for other images within. So image search is made for that. It's made to search for a specific of pixels within another image, whereas this is made to actually compare the entire part of the image to other
and
images.
the find text function that we featured a while back is another one that you could use for that, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm trying to.
Yeah, I tried to use it at one point. It didn't really do what I wanted to do. But again, I was kind of missing some documentation on the library. But
Yeah,
yeah.
it's been updated quite a bit too. But I haven't gone to the newer versions of it. I just use the original one that I played with.
Yeah, but still, when the things I was using it for, I really needed to know what every small part of it was actually doing when I wanted to tweak it to do what I needed it for. And there were no real explanation of why he had used that there, or why he had used that there, or so. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're walking me that GDIP library. Now I have that screen clipping tool that I borrowed and hacked together in I love it, right? But I understand nothing. It uses the GDIP library, but I've never understood any of it. And so you're walking through, because you walked through a lot more detail today than what we did before. Like I actually started learning a little bit about what's in there, because it's always been, I don't play with images and it's way over my head.
Yeah. Had I had a little bit more time, not today, but before today, I'd probably finished what I had started down here. I was trying to actually make GDI draw a heat map. But I kind of ended up here hitting some kind of wall of not actually being able to draw the the differences. I wanted to actually draw the number of difference on the exact pixel spot. So you would have a square 16 by 16 where it would say 00001, 1100035555, whatever, something like that. But yeah, for some reason I'm only getting black squares, so I'm still working on it.
Which that's the other part of the GDI stuff is like I've seen people, and I think I've seen you do it, where you draw with it, which that's I don't understand any of that.
Yeah, and you can do that just fine. And I'd say Tilk's tutorials on it goes quite a long way of actually being able to make small, nice windows, and the layered part of GDI and what you can do with that is nice, with being able to make transparency and glowing text and moving things and whatever. But again, when as me that I have no schooling in this as well, so when I actually hit that barrier where you actually need to know how a memory structure is constructed behind the scenes, and that's kind of what I'm hitting here on the format and on the size of this here, this 16 here. It actually needed to be the size of the font. So yeah, I hit some kind of thing there. If let's say if I take this one here, GDI plus here, look for it in the GDI library. Here you actually have Tilk's text to graphics function, which is one he has built. That it's not an actual, or I don't believe it is an actual function within GDI Plus. This is a collection of stuff that he's doing to kind of give you an easy to use function for writing text on your GUI or on your graphics. Whereas here you can simply just pass the graphic you want to write to, the text you want to write, the options. Again, there's different types of options, whichever font you want it to actually write with, the width and the height of the text, and if you want to get the length of that text, if you have some whatever reason you should have for that. And what I need for actually drawing here for these 2 lines below here, is a part of what's here. I need to create the font family. That works just fine. I need to create the format that I want the text to actually have. And a brush, again, brushes, I can easily enough create those because there's just a function, create solid brush of specific color. But then when you get to actually creating a structure here, do you remember bounding rectangle from IE? There's a function there where you can actually get the coordinates of an element on screen. At least I know that the GGI, no, the IE element spy.
Yeah, right.
It uses it to actually draw.
I always wondered how it did that.
Yeah, that's something that you can get. But here it's actually creating that with the function here. I'm unsure how that's actually working, but it's returning some kind of object here that's holding that. And again, with these different strings and rendering hints and stuff like that. And then you actually end up here with a delimited form of top, bottom, right, with whatever. But again, when I look at it online, I'm just getting C# functions or C++ functions or whatever, and they're not really telling you anything else than. And then if you just go 8 bytes down, you'll get the first point, and if you go 16 bytes down, you'll get the next one. But which one is the width, and which one is the X, and which one is the Y? You can't find out.
Right.
But yeah, so again, you can easily find something that's harder than your current level. But yeah. But I had actually hoped to actually do this, but then I ran out of time because I thought, hey, we could just do it with some AutoHotkey GUIs because we already have the information. This isn't actually creating any new information. This is just to actually draw it on a bitmap so we can store it in a file if we wanted to.
Cool.
So yeah.
Did anybody else have any other questions or?
Very welcome to ask, both about this, but also if you have something else you want to know. So yeah. Is it possible to have wildcards in hot strings? I think it has just become possible. Hasn't there just been added a hot string function?
John actually did something. John, can you, if you want to unmute, I'll unmute you if you can tap. But I know he updated QAP to leverage the new hot string functionality. So I think he's probably pretty familiar with it. I haven't looked at it.
But maybe Sean, he left, fell asleep, who knows?
Yeah.
I can't see him there in the list. Yeah, he is there somewhere, but.
Well, yeah, how would you use wildcards? Yeah,
how would you use wildcards?
Yeah.
Couldn't a wildcard wouldn't that be any character, kind of?
I think
like you have the version where you have regex hot strings. Don't remember Python. What was his name? Titan or whatever it was called. The old owner. He made that one. Regex hot strings.
Yeah. Was that the one? No, that was a different one from the one doing math. There's one where you can do like a calculator as you're typing.
Yeah. That's not the one. But that one was just because regex is all wildcards. It is just where you tell it, hey, I want a string that's 3 wide and one of them needs to be a number. To me, that's a wildcard if you don't actually specify the exact string. At least I know that library is out there, so you can actually do it, but I'm not sure if the new hot string functionality allows for it.
Yeah, is that, I put something in the chat. Is that the one you're thinking of, Jackie?
It sounds about right. It's not the correct person. No, yeah. Titan script is really the best way to go. Yeah. So he's at least pointing to the right script. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think he actually extended it or updated it quite a few times. So there must be a main thread somewhere, topic, where it's actually him that's owning it, Titan or whatever his name ended up being. But yeah, that's the general idea, where you would use the normal regex patterns to actually make a hot string.
I missed it.
Quite powerful.
Dale had said he'd like to be unmuted. Let me unmute him. I'm clicking it. Are you there, Dale? There. Try. There we go. Hello?
Yes. I put an example in the chat of what I want to do. I have an injury to my right hand, which makes it hard for me to do shift. So for first names, I was putting in like comma TOM, and that would change it to capital TOM.
Sure.
And I was thinking, where could I find a whole list of first names? And eventually it sunk in. All I need to do is like comma the first letter and capitalize that.
Gotcha.
So I created a workaround where I put 26, like comma small a changes it to capital A, comma small b changes it to capital B. And that works, but I was just looking, like I put my example in the chat there, like,
yeah, I see it.
The square brackets. Oh, the comma should be before the first square bracket, I guess. So.
But yeah, you basically want to uppercase. You want to have a comma hit a letter and then have it turn that letter into an uppercase.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not complicated, but helpful.
It can be done, and I'd say that the regex version of that is the way to go. I just copied the one you had there, Joe.
Yep.
Not because I'm done with it, but I'm pretty sure that if you actually put in something comparable to what you already have there, comma you said, and a, C,
yep,
and like so. I'm not sharing anymore, right? Or
no,
am I?
You are.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, something like that. I'm not sure, and I don't actually know this library, so I don't know what actually will happen when I execute this. Is because there's, as you can see, there's absolutely nothing actually telling me what's going on.
Yeah.
But maybe this is what it's catching, and this is what it will replace it with. Not sure what that can be, but let's say hello, just to see.
Yeah, just test it. Yeah.
Anything happens. So it didn't really say much. But comma H, yeah, okay, that worked.
So we'd
again,
have to
how?
We'd have to capture it, right? We'd have to have if it's really doing a regex, we'd have to capture the letter that's typed.
Yeah, but it probably is already doing that, I'm guessing. And again, there is a newer version of his library somewhere on the forum. Yeah. He worked on this quite a lot, and it got quite big. This one where you can actually see it on one screen, that's not how it is anymore. And I'm pretty sure that you could most likely have references to whatever you typed and have that be a part of whatever it replaces it with? Do you know from the normal regex where you have, what's that, something like that, right? What would then just send in that in? So if I'm not sure this will work, but who knows? It just replaced it with that, but it's just a quick idea.
I found a different link, Jackie. That's the regex power dynamic hot strings. I remember years ago.
Yeah. That's the correct one. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's become a download, right? So it probably doesn't even work anymore.
I more than likely have it handy because I have that, you know, the lost. Things. I got that in my library. Let me see if I can find it.
I also have it somewhere. That's for sure. Yeah. I've used it a couple of times over.
Yeah, I hadn't. I remember seeing this going. That's interesting, but I just don't know how I'd use it. But now
okay, but this is one way of using it at least.
That, yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah. Maybe one. I don't want to actually search my computer. That's a bad idea.
So I'm trying to remember, would that have been when he was it because he is nope. Huh. I don't see anything for him.
I have something there. Okay, I don't know if this is actually his last version I have here, but it's at least a version that was modified by Ed at one point. I'm still sharing, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the one I just found. And whatever the options are, can't really say. He's telling something here. Okay, so here you have those. Can you see that?
Yeah.
That's probably what we are after here.
Yeah. Use the
so
percent.
I'll just use this file as a test file. That will be fine. So hot string like so, comma like so, A to C like so and so. Need to close that and remove that one and like so. And then something like this. I'm not sure if there is an option to actually lowercase or higher case it. Maybe.
Well, couldn't you throw the? Oh, yeah, it's not a.
Let's just run this, see what it says. So I was still missing something here, and that's the wrong one, like so. Okay, so if I type a comma and an A, it's still replacing it with that, which was what I believed it wouldn't do.
Yeah, it sure looks right.
From what I saw here.
Yeah, that looks right.
Followed by tab space and return. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure you can do it. And of course, you most likely need to actually read up on all of these.
See the comment by Mordecai in the chat? He said use parentheses.
Okay.
Oh. Yeah, that'll be, of course, that will be the first capturing group. Yeah, that might be correct. So comma and an A. that yielded an error. Comma A. Okay. So it's doing something, but it's not doing exactly what I wanted it to do. So, comma A. Not sure that's really the idea. So something with this over here is at least off with the way I'm doing it. Let's take this test example here just to
it's a good
try
idea.
that.
Right.
And then, so by the way, space, by the way. Okay. So now at least it doesn't really care if it's a small or large letter. Then we'll just make it a large letter. But could one then do that with this instead of actually having that, having like a word boundary? Isn't that a word boundary to remember, so. Joe?
Yeah, I think so.
So like so, and instead of actually, this still seems correct.
Seems right, yeah.
It worked just fine here. So.
Yeah. And Jackie's demonstrating a really good of like, this is how you troubleshoot, right? You change one thing at a time, and you borrow what someone did, and then keep it simple.
Jesus said in the chat you should use a / lowercase b.
Okay, okay.
Right, because that's the opposite. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. I actually thought that, okay, which one is it actually reacting on right now?
Well,
it's just when I do the space and type a single one and do another space, it's not acting, but when I simply just type on the second letter, it's reacting.
Yeah.
So let's just remove that to see what it's might be doing. So
how in the world did it get that?
Yeah, something
is it running more than once?
Yeah, maybe. It's running quite a few times. Let's just remove these.
Well, I can research on hot strings there. See what
persistent.
I can.
Yeah.
It looks like there's something here, right? That'll get the. I like the idea though, instead of just, doing it all manually, which is what I would have done.
Well, you go in stages.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that wasn't. Okay. That's also a little weird. Something is kind of messing with my keys here.
Is there something else running?
Yeah, not something that's interfering with this. It was quite interesting to try this. But again, what is it actually returning from up here? There's really no end character. Maybe that's the thing. So if we have, let's say, a word boundary, that should be a word boundary that, and an F and a space, and it simply returns an F. I saw it actually do it. So if I just put in this a couple times, I'll get 3 Fs by instead, just to show it. An F and a space returns 3 Fs. But how to actually make this uppercase?
Well, can't you put
do you get what I'm saying?
The capital U in front of the, because there is a way to. I've done that with the regex uppercase. What gets returned.
Yeah, but it's more what are the options in
here, I know.
in here compared to what it's actually doing when.
Well, right there on 51, right? Is that where, couldn't you just tell it to I mean, granted, this would have to be a separate thing where he doesn't use it in other ways, but you could just hard code. When is it sending back what's been replaced?
Yeah, that's the thing. If Q is shift return, if Q space is tab is blah blah blah. Mult add sub dot shift caps
I
lock.
see a send input.
Yeah.
88.
88.
They're sending
backspace.
So
Couple
maybe
of times. Should still be sending it at one
right
place or another.
It's got to be. Oh, send. How about 100?
There, yeah.
So right before that.
Yeah, you don't seem to actually have an option here, right? To actually decide case on the stuff, because it's probably already been interpreted if it's uppercase or lowercase. So it's simply returning whichever case you actually typed in.
But couldn't he just?
But yeah. He could. He could easily enough modify this function to just uppercase whatever is sent here. Whatever that might be, I can't even remember the uppercasing, but it's probably just string upper or something, right?
Nope.
I can just use that.
Yep. Uh-oh.
What?
Well, you got rid of it from below.
No, it actually did more than just get rid of it. So I go in here and I click Control C and I paste it there and press comma and I
the script's
paste
running
something different.
Well,
yeah, but it just, that's interesting. How many times is it running? A couple of times. But yeah, something like that, right?
Right.
I'm not sure that will work, but we'll try it.
Is there a single instance force in this thing?
There could be, but there isn't. So E, like so. Okay, it's kind of working.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, it's sending itself. So.
Right. That's interesting. You still had a couple lowercase though.
Yeah, exactly.
So did you modify the function itself?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem. So
we cheated.
Cheated. Yeah. So yeah, that kind of worked at least. Seemed correct, right? So I had space and I started typing T and I pressed space and it became
uppercase.
Uppercase. Again, we actually cheated because we don't know any options here to actually make it, and it doesn't seem to actually have that option either. Right. So we just put in that line there on line 100. But again, it can be done, and of course, if it's for just your case, you can grab this function here and modify it for your need and call it hot strings upper or whatever. That makes the most sense to you. So you can get that functionality, and then of course just hitting the correct regex pattern here, because if you want it to be at the beginning of a word, G and pressing space might be a little weird. But yeah, maybe as you had it,
Put the comma
was it
back
a
in there now?
comma and then not having the space there, something like that. Now I'll probably have it multiple times again. And then it reran itself, which was kind of weird. Okay, so there, something happened. G didn't
Do the comma.
become, yeah, do the comma. G. Okay. Now something is totally off, at least.
Is it running more than once?
No, I think it's the comma.
Oh, okay.
It's most likely doing some weird stuff with the function because it's a special character for AutoHotkey. So if, let's say, I used that one.
Yeah, it could be a
instead,
different character.
Just to try and see if that actually changes anything. I should just put that in single force.
Yeah.
But yeah. So taking that one and then putting in a G didn't really work. Okay.
How is it launching itself so many times?
Yeah, I really don't know.
Add that single instance force in there, man.
Yeah. Come on, hit the right key. And now it's also.
That's funny. All right.
So, let's hope that actually works. Stop. Just stop.
I see this sometimes, troubleshooting. You have to like reload the file. This might work.
So let's hope. Just me and my quick mouse clicks here. So now we have that one and a G. That's not really doing anything.
Nick is saying in the chat
maybe
the pipe, the vertical bar is a special character. I guess it's like the OR.
Yeah. Let's do a space just to do something. So a space and a J.
It got rid of it.
What did that? Yeah, it removed the space, but still used the lowercase j.
How is that possible?
Yeah.
Oh, you commented it out below.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Space J. Yeah, okay. So it's actually removing the J as well, which is how that is. Do I actually believe you can use this one? Or is that of a K? I can't remember.
What's that?
I
don't recognize that.
I can't remember what it's called, but it actually tells it to stop the recognition from that point on. So, yeah. Space H. Yeah, didn't work as I'd hoped. Maybe it is the low K, but maybe the function really doesn't care. Space H. So now it simply just doesn't work. Because now it actually can't actually find it. Just an idea.
So he'll just have to have a different trying to think of what is that called? Pre-letter character.
I'd say I'd go with most likely the word boundary, because okay, so everything is getting because it's seeing everything as a word boundary, most likely because of Either it's very quick or I have caps lock on. Or something.
try. Nick had a good idea. With the pipe, throw a slash to escape it in front of it. So yeah, try it like that.
It's making it a large G at least.
Yeah, but
when I'm typing a G, but it didn't actually. But it doesn't remove this.
Sure, because you escaped it. Yeah.
I believed it would remove the pipe when I then typed the letter, but that's maybe not happening. We might not get an exact working version. So I'll just turn this off because I can't see anything but large letters at the moment. So yeah, see, I'm just typing capital, so like that. Okay, so something with space was off. Let's try it one more time. So now that one, G. So now it's not acting on it. So these special characters here seem to be a little hard for this, whatever he's done down here. Seems to maybe be missing whichever types of special characters we're trying to put in front.
You know, Jackie, we might be overthinking it. It might just be easier to write our own. Look for a, you know, a comma. Well, never mind. You'd have to have that. I mean, couldn't we just?
I still kind of believe that this one is. So now I'm stuck on this uppercase. I still believe if you just have the word boundary there, it will make it upper. But when you type the next one, no, apparently it just. I'm not sure what it actually does because I'm not seeing it actually change the letter. It seems as if it's just making my computer stuck in making all of the letters uppercase, which is weird because so G, that's not correct. Is this running? G? Yeah, that's a small G. That makes sense. Like so. And wherever white space, this G should become a large G. That's fair enough. But any G, any letter after this shouldn't actually have a word boundary before it. Right. So it shouldn't be captured, or that's at least how I see it. But when I type this again, it's no longer actually replacing it. It's just typing large letters on my machine. So I got it away. Okay. So that's kind of weird. Okay, I don't know really what's going on, and of course none of you can actually see it, but apparently I need to turn caps lock on and off again. So it isn't actually on, but apparently it is on. So when I type the G, it apparently turns it off without actually showing it. And now next G, yeah, I can't actually get it to return now. Oh, there. So a lot of clicking on shift and caps lock.
Oh, that's perfect for him.
Yeah. Not really. So, but again, I do believe, yeah. But I think that you could make something work. least.
Yeah,
But yeah,
keep
the
looking.
workaround probably works just as well. Yeah. Did we get to the end of the second hour, Joe, or do we have more questions coming?
No, I think we're comma turns off cancel. No. Link to the library. Did anybody else have any other questions? Oh, and I guess we should. Sorry, I should announce this earlier, but I think Jackie and I are both traveling in July, so we're going to skip July's webinar. Unless someone else wants to run it. But I think a lot of people are traveling for holidays or summer stuff, so we'll pick it back up in August. And actually, that reminds me, next month was the very last recurring webinar I had scheduled when I first plotted these out. So I'm going to have to create a new one. I'll email you guys all with the new link, to sign up for them. But that'll be when I get back from. I'm gone all of July, so in August I'll send that out. Thanks, Sean.
Sounds good, Joe. Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Thanks.
We'll send out the stuff Jackie shared earlier. We'll send it out later once we get it all to you. But you guys have a great summer. Let me stop recording.
Yeah. Enjoy.